Living abroad is that I'm living abroad with a lot of debt. Hi, if you're new here, my name's Kara. I'm the digital nomad mom, and me and my family sold everything that we had to travel the world full time, and we're currently living in Greece as digital nomads. So I think when people think of digital nomads, I think of people who own their own businesses, they're freelancers, maybe they work in the tech industry, and they're able to live abroad because they have some sort of asset like a home that they rent, or they've also been able to sell their home. Well, I'm not like that. I'm a broke ass millennial, you guys, living abroad in Greece. This is my home and this is my view. One of the things I hear from a lot of people that stops them from wanting to live abroad and travel abroad is that they have a lot of debt. But here's the thing, that once you get abroad, things are a lot more inexpensive. Now, that really depends on where you're going to be. More countries are less expensive than others. But for the most part, because the inflation in the United States is so bad and the cost of living has really just gone insane, when you live abroad, you are going to save money. Now, for us, getting out of debt has been really tough. And the reason for that is because my husband used to work a really labor intensive job. He was a restaurant manager, so he doesn't have any remote work experience. So for us to be able to live
I think she's making some great points. The cost of living here in the States is like ridiculous and out of control, and I don't foresee anything happening that is going to change that. This is and will be the way of life here in the United States. So you have to either adapt and conform or either do what she does. But my rebuttal to her making the decision she made is that the easy way is never the best way. People never accumulate or get where they are trying to go in life by taking the easy way or the easy route. No successful self-made entrepreneur, athlete, or anything has gotten where they are successfully by taking the easy way out. And so I think that's just being weak and just giving up going to go travel abroad for a nice view in another country that don't give a damn about you or your family or what you have to contribute to them. So I think she's fell a victim to getting caught up in this. Oh, let me go travel abroad and explore the world and the fact that she was so exhausted from living here at this in the States with this high inflation, it just made it easier for them to make that decision. But overall, I just think that she is not taking into account the pros and cons of doing what they are doing.
live this lifestyle, he had to step away from his job and become a stay at home dad. So we are now down to one income. But here's the thing, because I've been able to offset the cost of living by living in a place like Greece or places like Albania, for example, where the cost of living is so much lower than the United States, we can afford to live on one income in addition to continue to pay down our debt. So while I don't necessarily spend less because I am still paying off our debts, I'm able to live a more comfortable lifestyle. So we can still go out to eat. We can still have, little things that make us happy that we were having to sacrifice in the States. My husband doesn't have to work because I am still able to make enough for us to be comfortable and also pay down our debt. I wanted to make this video because I think that a lot of people are looking at that debt and seeing how much debt they're in and thinking there's no way I can move.
But the thing is that while you are living abroad, and yes, she is paying down her debt, but they have went from two incomes to one income. That don't necessarily mean that that's the best option for you as a family. Me and my logical thinking, it should have been okay. How can we maintain and keep both of our incomes but lower our cost of living so we can get ahead moving forward in life and build wealth and build something to stand on later on in life? A able-bodied man sitting at home taking care of two kids, I don't think is going to be conducive to that family overall over the next 10, 20 years, Imagine the money that he could have made over the next 10, 20 years to ultimately help him and her and their family in a whole versus sitting at home, not pulling in no income while you are working on one income. And the only way that is working is because you figured out how to travel abroad and lower cost of living. And I don't think that is the most economically sound decision that should have been made in this situation. But, I don't know everything. I just like to think in logic.
Abroad, or I have to get my debt down to a certain amount before I can think about making this move. And while, yes, I absolutely advocate for making sure that you have a safety net in the form of multiple streams of income and a savings account, the worst thing that could possibly happen is that you have to go back to the United States, maybe move in with your parents or a friend and start all over again. Now, I know not everybody has those types of safety nets, but if you do, just think about it. That is truly the worst that could happen. And that's how I went into this situation, knowing that, you know what, if the worst thing that can happen is that I have to move back in with my parents, save up money, my husband has to get back into the workforce again so that we can essentially do this all over again. That is literally the worst thing that could possibly happen. But
The worst thing that could possibly happen is that he keep working, you move back in with your parents, literally probably cut your cost of living in half. I'm a logical thinking person. How is that bad? Like, if you even had that option to move back in with your parents with your husband to save money and get back on your feet, I think that was a better option than him quitting his job and you going overseas and trying to function and operate off of one income.
instead, what has happened for us is that we've been able to make a living as travel content creators because in our travels, we created a ton of travel content. And now we're working with really large brands who are paying us money to essentially travel. So thankfully, because we took that leap of faith, we are now earning more money, paying down more debt because now we're able to attract really great, lucrative brand opportunities. When we first started this journey, we were in about $73,000 worth of debt. Now, a large chunk of that was car loans. So we were able to sell our cars before we left. And at the end of this year, once we get paid out from the rest of our brand sponsorships, we'll have about $41,000 in debt. And that's a pretty good chunk of debt eliminated in about 2 years.
No, it's not. 20K of debt eliminated in 2 years is not. Okay, say his average salary was 60, $70,000 working in the States. If you would have moved in with your parents and kept his whole income, you would be in a lot better shape. I just think that this is the classic. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. I'm going to look for the easy way out. I want to be a content creator. I like what I do. I like creating content, but I'm never gonna get on here and tell people that you need to go out and be a content creator because you need to have your money and your finances and a lot of other things in place before you get on the internet trying to make a living being a content creator, because it's not all what it seems. 99% of content creators do not make it, and that's just a fact. So to go and put on this facade like, oh, we are doing this and we creating content now and making extra income, people don't get fooled by that hoopla. But let me know what y'all think. Like, subscribe. Please help me reach 60,000 subscribers. I know I can do it. I appreciate each and every one of you all support. Have a blessed day.